All right, so next this is an interesting one. I want to talk about this because I think I've got the right take again, like I always do,
Yeah.
almost. From Great Greatness, and subject is All In versus SummerSlam. The success that AEW's had with All In is crazy. 60,000 plus tickets sold at a time when, in my opinion, AEW TV has never been worse. The fact that AEW can do that while WWE at the same time sold out SummerSlam in 24 hours is a very good sign for the state of the wrestling business. Question is, why is the WWE ticket sales getting more coverage? Meltzer mentioned in passing comment that WWE sold their stadium show out and new seats had to be added, yet AEW is the one that gets all the coverage. This is true too, by the way. Shouldn't both be getting props? I would love to hear K100 discuss this, and I'm not going to read the last comment. Um, all right, so let me say this. I was on. Did I say it on? I think I said on this show when we talked about Joel. How many tickets? When they announced Wembley, what was my prediction of how many people they would have?
I think you said 60 or 70.
50 to 60,000 people,
Is that
right?
what you said? 50 to 60?
That was my prediction, and that's just based on basic metrics. They're the number one watched wrestling show in the UK because it's on free TV. Okay, they get more viewers than WWE does in the UK because WWE is on a pay station. All right, so they do like I think they do like 250,000 fans, which is like it's not a lot in the thing, but it's still wrestling. But the UK fan base, as we have seen, is very passionate, and like it's the first show they've done in 3 years. It's where it's that what culture community, like they've got the same nerdy fan base there that we have here with the AEW fans. It's the same fan base, and I said like that those type of fans, the AEW fans, will travel to go see the product, and this is like a big event. It's at Wembley. And I told Vince Russo, I said, bro, I would not be surprised if like they sell a lot of tickets and like it eventually does like 90,000 or something. I mean, that's just on the metrics. So I know the way these type of wrestling fans are. They'll go out of their way to support the project and the product. And what we've seen from wrestling fans today, bro, that's all these people like is wrestling. Like the typical wrestling fan will watch 9 to 15 hours of wrestling a week, buy the shirts, buy the like what's the word we use, Joe? They're completists.
Yeah.
Right, they'll buy the whole
for
collection.
Sure.
They'll buy the dolls still.
The video game.
So that number, like people are saying, oh, that's only going to do like 30,000. It's like no way. Like that's going to do a very good number. But what is going to happen? That show is going to be a spectacle of like like all these nerdy wrestling fans all in one place at one time in mass, and you're gonna look at that crowd, and it's gonna be a bunch of white, young adults in black T-shirts, don't look very attractive. Probably hardly any girls are gonna be there, and it's gonna showcase that like this is what they draw. Like this is their fans.
And it says here, DI,
would you agree with what I just said, Konnan?
What part?
Like just like the type of fans are going to draw. They probably will draw 60, 70. They'll probably do more than. But here's the thing too.
My point was, let me just say this. My point is that we've seen the massive numbers that UFC and boxing has done in England. Right? And one of the advantages that you have is England is a small country. I don't even think it has 80 million people.
It's not a far drive for these people to go to the show.
Everybody can drive from within England, from Scotland, from Ireland. Bro, you could take that channel from France to England. It's like 2 hours because I took it myself.
Yeah.
So you've got all of Europe can come to London and watch this big event that only comes maybe once a year.
Right.
Absolutely. And they like wrestling.
Right. I'd agree. Plus, too, the one thing and bro, you see the wrestling media guys, this is like, oh, this is unbelievable. Like, bro, this is fine, but like, this shows you what we've said about professional wrestling for the past like 3-4 years. It's a big show business. Big people are attracted to the big shows, which is why the weekly TVs are not drawing good. It's like the weekly TVs are not a big deal anymore. These things like this are a big deal. Wembley, big, All In at that Chicago State, whatever. Like the big shows are their only
Rumble,
the only
Mania, SummerSlam,
and WWE the pay-per-views.
Yeah,
the big shows.
They're gonna be able to bring in a lot of stars because they have a lot of stars on their roster.
Why do that though? You're already selling the tickets.
and bring in. Well, but you got to give the people something,
Yeah,
Right.
and they're going to want to
then
have an
bring,
impressive show too. You know.
and then yeah, what are you going to bring in? Best friends. So you
Well,
want to bring in. Wait, and then you've also got a couple. You know, you got Hayter, Soraya, and Tony Storm, who are all from England. Is
wait,
there
Tony Storm, I
any
thought was
guys?
Australian, isn't
She's
she?
Australian. Yeah, she's Australian.
Oh, my bad,
Yeah,
my
she's
bad, my
Australian.
bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but I think she wrestled in England. Am I
Yeah.
correct, Feeney?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she wrestled there, so they consider her from there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they're coming home to a big homecoming. Are there any British guys on the thing, Joe?
Nick Aldis is out there. Zack Sabre Jr. He's worked with AEW,
No, but
right?
Nick Aldis is an
I think
Impact, right?
Oh yeah, so I guess he can't.
Right.
Will Ospreay's English, right?
Bro, did you
But
see
they
it?
could use it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Meltzer trying to push for Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay to main event this thing?
I saw something. I saw a tweet about that. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I mean,
But let me ask you a question on this guy's letter. Is he basically alluding to Disco, and you would probably know this more than me and Joe, that there's a Meltzer wrestling bias against WWE?
oh, 100%.
Kind of.
Wrestling.
No,
Oh,
they're
there
very
is?
pro.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a bias against WWE. It's a very pro AEW bias.
Yeah, but at the same
Right.
Yeah.
time,
Well,
WWE
let me-
is selling out the stadium for SummerSlam. Yeah, that's big.
Well,
But this company that's only 3 years old selling out Wembley in a foreign country, that's a bigger story to me, anyways. You know.
well,
let's
let
just
me
do
let me
this.
let me just say this. They don't need the rest of media to tout their success, because the rest of the world and their numbers will do it for them. Because I remember when I first got to Mexico, listen to this, Disco.
Yeah.
Back then, you had to pay for them to do an interview for you in a magazine, like in a newspaper, right? Especially mainstream.
Well,
And I was trying to break into the mainstream, right?
yeah.
So they would always tell me that I would have to pay, because that was their MO for years. That's just, it was kind of like payola and radio was an accepted thing. And I always used to say, I'm not paying for shit. I'm going to make my own news, and sooner or later you will cover it. And I was right.
All right.
WWE doesn't need the wrestling media to tout their success.
Right. They're in an adversarial relationship with them, actually.
Right.
Okay, let me read you this. This is actually pretty funny. So, is there a bias? Okay, I'm going to read you. I just get Wrestling Observer Radio. Okay, on
Right.
YouTube, and these are the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The first 11 videos. Right. I'm going to read you the titles of the videos. Okay. The rules don't apply to Brock Lesnar. It's the title of one of them. Things like this weren't happening when Vince McMahon was gone. Okay, these are titles of the videos, right?
Right.
Brock's bloody rules. This World Heavyweight title tournament is a mess. Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest was all you could have asked for. Cody Rhodes continues his story at WWE Backlash. Cody lost. AEW took a gamble with All In, and it paid off. All In London is shattering pro wrestling records. So that's just the first, those are like 10 videos. And like you could, how many of those were kind of like negative, the percentage of the videos about WWE were negative, would you say?
Yeah, half of them.
All but one. It's like,
Right.
right, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe, but honestly, I think I think Dave knows that's his audience too. Him and Brian, like this is what they talk about.
But
This is
I
what
think
they post.
everybody's their audience, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he has friends there, but I think I've known Dave long enough to know that he doesn't roll like that. But people change. I don't know. I don't read enough of him to make a educated, intelligent,
Right. You don't listen.
statement.
You don't listen to him enough to realize. Right, Katie.
Right. I don't really read him enough. I don't. I just know him as a person.
What I do with Dave is
Yeah.
I don't follow him right on Twitter, but I'll click him on like once a week and like see like the past like 2 or 3 days of posts of what he's talking about.
Right. I do that too. I go to his online thing.
Right, and he is kind of, you could tell he likes AEW a lot, so